Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night, Evansfield. Today, we continue day 8. After talking with Rin and sort of making an alliance, we're a little bit concerned about the Shadow, and we're going to go investigate some stuff about it. Our goal isn't to engage, but to learn more about this Shadow we've encountered a couple times. And really seems to be the focus of everything. The whole Grail War thing, we're just putting that off to the side. Now, we have an intermission. An intermission about Tosuka, alright. And the girl Tosuka Rin reaches her destination. The Matou household. The workshop of the old family of Magi who came to this town 200 years ago. Wait, does that mean Zoken wasn't born here? He's like 500? That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Zoken's actually older than the house and even like the whole Grail War system. I wonder why he moved here. Even though her family gave them land as a cooperator, the Matou family are outsiders and they never concern themselves with. Alright. The two families formed a non-aggression pact and bound themselves to not be concerned with each other's affairs. I'm not sure I believe that, and we'll find out later in this series exactly why I don't really believe that to be the case. Anyway, she walks on, uncaring. If there was a pact forbidding the two families to associate, it was broken 11 years ago. It was originally formed by the heads of the two families. They had abided by it for 200 years, though its purpose has been forgotten. Neither Tosuka nor Matou have obtained the Holy Grail during that time. Their pact was made to obtain the Holy Grail. Why are they not communicating? Why are they not cooperating to obtain the Holy Grail if it's truly an item that can grant any wish and you all have the same wish? What's the breaking point? Since their wish never came true, there's no reason to follow such an ancient pact. Yeah, exactly. Are they competing with each other? Why are there are so many questions why they would do some of these things. Alright. She strides through the front door without ringing the doorbell. Ballsy move, man. She did not come here as a guest. She is here as a master to eliminate one of her competitors in this game. Rin searches through the Matou household with a sour expression. The Holy Grail War provided her with the reason to come here. Therefore, she's not bound by the pact between their families. Even though she persuades herself, she cannot change her personality. His instructions and advice are pretty terrible. He's not really a great guy. If you've seen Zero, you'd probably agree. Anyway, she mutters the first time she's gone against her dad's instructions. Good for you, Tosuka. Don't be a sheep. But it's nothing special. It's not like something important was destroyed by disobeying her father. Long dead, might I add. If she regrets anything... Very true. It's the remorse towards someone who has endured it for over 10 years.
リン、屋敷の間取りだが空白部分が2つある。え、どこよそれ？1階？2階からだ。階段にしては狭いが、おそらく地下に通じている。オッケー。ところでアーチャー、気づいてる？
Where's their magical defenses?
当然だ。だが害はあるまい。リンが無視する限りは私も気にかけん。
She nods to his words and goes to the second floor. Even though the Red Knight is not visible, he is by her side. We brought him in case of combat, but it seems he takes notice of smaller details. After traversing the house once, he has come up with a blueprint and can point out where the empty spaces are. Rin has come to realize that Archer is skilled in analyzing the design and structure of objects.
前から思ってたけど、あなたのそれってアーチャーとしてどうかと思う長所よね。
減らず口は後だ。そら、 開いたぞ。暗いから気をつけ。
They stop talking. From the opening in the wall, damp air flows out of the pathway to the basement. The rotten smell is unbearable even for Archer, who has not taken form. Ah, it's this basement. They come down to a damp stone paving. Murky greenish darkness engulfs them. The numerous holes must be to bury dead people. That's a fucking huge mausoleum. By the way, 200 years. How many corpses do you expect to have in 200 years? Real question. I think you'd quickly assume this isn't set up for 200 years, or it's set up for being an eternity. Like, okay, how many people in your family? Maybe like 5? 200 years? Okay, 25. We're done. That's like the text, like the grid under the stairs is more than enough. In these stone chambers, the corpses decompose and fade away, leaving the holes empty to await their next occupant. It's like the process of burial above ground. That's way too many holes for that. The only difference is the process of decomposition. It is not the soil that decomposes the corpse here, but the writhing mass of worms. She gets dizzy. It's not because of disgust or chill. It's anger that causes her to shudder, repent, and vomit. This is the training ground. A place like this is used as a training ground. This space containing rotten moisture, the smell of corpses, and infinite worms is the room given to the successor of the Matteau family. Hey, how's it going, Shadow? What can one learn in such a place? The only thing here is breeding stock. Worms to breed, worms to raise, worms to train. I'm doing great. We're back at Heavensfield. I'm enjoying the progress we're making. Had a nice dinner. I'm looking forward to pushing further in this. The only thing I think I'm missing now is some more progress in Final Fantasy XIII. Going great. It finally snowed in Texas. Well, I guess it won't be too hot in hell then. I hear it snows in Texas when hell freezes over. Alright. The people of Matteau have trained, urged, and bred their successor with these worms. How different is this world from her own? The cold-hearted ways, the difficulty of the tasks, and the pain of the engraved magic circuit. She's not comparing the severity as the successor. If one is to talk about the burden, sufferings, and the harshness, hers is incomparable. Yeah, they're giving out like 1 or 2 million QP a day during the event if you max out the event stuff. That's kind of nice. She overcame more difficulties and hardships than anyone. That's why she's a genius mage and an average one. The user of 5 elements that the Magic Association is accepting as a scholarship student. If one orders her to command the worms in this room, she'll be able to create a superior spell in half a year. Bryn can create a spell that the successor of the Matteau family has been unable to create even after 10 years. But this method of learning is madness. If asked whether she could withstand being violated by these worms, she can only hesitate. The inheritance of the magic here is not a study, but a torture. A magic that is taught not to the mind, but to the body. That is how the Makiris pass on their magic, and this is the preference of the old magus, Matteau Zoken. Therefore, to be chosen as the successor of the Matteau family means to be tortured forever.
Rin.
わかってる。ここに造剣はいないわ。私が来たから逃げたのか、他に本拠地があるのか。どっちにしろこれといった手がかりもないし、長居は無用ね。
I believe a healthy serving of napalm is appropriate here. First of all, just because a mountain of worms is pretty gross in general, and those ones are particularly disgusting because they eat people. And that's a fucked up method of training. So, yeah, fire, please. Come on. I'm sure you have a gem for fire, Rin. She leaves the stone room, suppressing her urge to scream. Her footsteps fade. Come on, just consider it like a blow against your enemy. You know, you're trying to kill you're trying to kill this asshole. May as well not give him any resources. You have to. After that, the worms swarm around what she has vomited out. Cool. She returns to the ground floor. Her business finished, she makes for the door and...
Shinji, そこにいるんでしょ? 隠れても無駄よ.
There's a lot of assassins with imperial privilege. A lot of assassins who happen to be emperors, I guess. Both Cleo and Wu Zetian have it. Makes sense, they're both empresses. She calls out to the person hiding in the other secret pathway.
遠坂、お前。
さっきまで無視して帰るつもりだったけど気が変わったわ。少し話をしましょう、マトウ君。
Uh-oh, you might get yelled at, Matou. Matou Shinji glares at Rin, but follows her request. He's obviously afraid of her. His fear is not because of facing a master and her servant, but rather because of the threatening attitude she's taken. Hey, Spade, how's it going?
僕は話なんてない。大体な、遠坂はマトウに口出ししない決まりだろ。何勝手にやってきてんだよ、お前は。
Maybe the fight, the Holy Grail War thing. You ever consider the fact that you're supposed to fight each other?
あら、私たち同じ学校の生徒でしょ? 遊びに来てもおかしくないと思うけど。
Rin breaks into his house and he's like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "We go to the same school. It's not weird for me to come over." It's like, what? Shinji's the guy who's afraid. He's like, it's great.
笑わせるな。鍵を壊して入ってきて散々家を荒らしたくせに遊びに来たって。父親が死んでから礼儀も何もなくなったって聞いてたけど、本当だな。頭悪いよね。いつから強盗の真似事を始めたんだい？遠坂の人間は。
そう見えた？ならそれも悪くないわね。盗むものなんてここにはないけど、強盗ってあれでしょ？盗みに入った時、見つかったら暴れ回るから強盗っていうのよね。
Is Rin threatening to burn his house down right here? I think she is.
それなら本当に真似をしてもいい気分よ、私。
Yep, there we go. She's joking. I don't know if Shinji thinks that, but she isn't. She's joking, but she isn't smiling at all. 20-man QP. Nice, nice. Osaka Rin is coldly staring at Matou Shinji, who has his back to the wall.
バカ、違うぞ。僕は関係ない。造剣とは関係ない。あのジジイが何をしてるかなんて、僕は今まで知らなかったんだ。
This guy lies as easy as breathing. I don't think I would believe him at all.
どうだか。ならなんでマスターになんてなったのよ、あんたは。
それはだから。
A gritting sound. Even though he's cornered by Tosca, he swallows his words. He was willing to tell her anything she wanted to know about the old man. But this girl is dangerous right now. There's no telling what she will do if he keeps quiet. In the worst case, she might simply kill him out of rage.
それは?
But he can't say it. Telling her why he became a master is like asking for death. Even if...
なら言ってあげる。単に魔術師の真似事をしたかっただけなのよ、あんたは。自分は落ちこぼれだから、魔術師にはなれないから、聖杯の力で魔術師になりたかった。それ以外に目的なんてない。あんたは無力な自分を隠すために、欲しくもない証を欲しがっただけの臆病者よ。
Damn, right for the heart, Tosaka. It's something trivial for others. Yup, he's pissed off.
マトウの家に生まれながらあなたには魔術回路がなかった。けどそれはあなたのせいじゃないわ。もともとマトウの血は薄れていた。この土地に根を張った時から探求者としてのマトウの責務は薄れていたのよ。だっていうのにあなたはそれに固執した。特別であることが特別だなんて勘違いをしてしなくてもいいないものねだりをした。そんなことで魔術回路を得たところで魔術師にはなれないっていうのに見苦しく自分に与えられるべきだった特権にすがったのよ。
Damn, Ren, that's cold. He can't be a magus even if he obtained a magic circuit. Like even if you were a wizard, even if you had the powers of a wizard, you'd never be a wizard because you're such a garbage person and don't have the personality for it. Even when she's like commenting the truth, she's still roasting him. Great job, Tosuka.
たような口を叩くな。ふざけんなよ。僕が魔術師になれないだと。そんなことお前にどうしてわかるって言うんだ。
わかるわよ。断言してもいいけど聖杯を得たところであなたは魔術師にはなれない。
Is she gonna say why, or is it gonna be some? It's probably gonna be something like needs to be willing to struggle and push forward, and he's too much of a coward.
だって才能がないもの。そのあたりがエミヤ君とは違うところ。
His jaw drops. That name is unexpected for Matou Shinji. It's fine if Tosuka Rin opposes him as a master, he expected that. But it cannot be possible for Emiya Shiro's name to come from her lips. He's just an amateur. He isn't from a family of magi, nor is he suited to be a master. It's too much for him to have Saber, so why is his name coming out of Tosuka Rin's mouth?
なんだよ。やめろよな、トサカ。なんでなんだってお前がエミヤのことなんて口にするんだよ。
彼があなたより強いから。それに魔術師としての素質もある。マトウシンジにはないものをエミヤシロウは持っている。
Well, it clearly isn't not being a garbage person. What is it? What is it that Shiro has? The
あなたと
dedication?
同じようにエミヤ君にも魔術師としての才能はないわ。けど彼には魔術師としてやっていける絶対的な素質がある。それだけは他の誰にも負けない。彼が一番足りうるところよ。
That's right, dedication and hard work. Shinji isn't committed to becoming a magus.
一番だってあいつが笑わせるな、トサカ。あいつにあって僕にないものなんてない。何もないのはあいつの方だ。あいつなんてただ運よくセーバーと契約できただけの野良犬じゃないか。
Shinji's hatred for Shiro must have blown his fears away, as he now faces Rin straight on. The girl sighs and shrugs her shoulders.
そう。これだけ言ってもわからないようじゃ本当に処置なしね。少しは責任を取らせようと思ったけど、あなたにはその価値さえない。ここで見逃してあげるから、エミヤ君にやられる前に教会にでも逃げ込みなさい。
Go to the church before Emiya beats the crap out of you. Turns her back on him, telling him she has no business here. She heads for the door, not even bothering to treat Shinji as an enemy.
僕がエミヤに劣るだって。
His voice burns with hatred. But he can do nothing but watch her go. He'll surely be killed if he attacks her here. Even Matou Shinji can see the difference in their powers.
トサカ、お前。
A voice filled with deep resentment.
もうしょうがないな。
She stops and says goodbye to the boy that used to be the successor.
いいわ。最後に教えてあげる。自分以外のために先を目指すもの。自己よりも他者を顧みるもの。そして誰よりも自分を嫌いなもの。
None of those describe Shinji.
これが魔術師としての素質ってやつよ。どんなに才能があったところで、それがないものには到達できないところがある。 私だってそんな条件を満たしている奴がいるなんて思ってもみなかった。こればっかりは生まれつき壊れてないとモテない矛盾だから。シンジ、あんたは他人を蔑むことで同時に抱かなくてもいい劣等感を抱いた典型よ。自分が好きなあまり周りを下に見たものの見下す相手が上にいるものだからつまらない劣等感にとらわれただけ。
Pride. That's called pride, Tosuga. He's so prideful and narcissistic. Pride and narcissism.
あなたの中身は空っぽよ。詰まっているように思えるのは本人だけで、正体は風船と一緒。周りの風向き次第で行き着く先なんてくるくる変わる。理解した？そんな男に魔術師なんて務まらないし、サーバントだって従わないわ。ここから先はあなたには関係のない世界よ。麻藤真司がどんなに自分をマスターだと言い張っても、あなたは絶対にマスターにはなれないんだから。
The sound of retreating footsteps. Tosuga Rin leaves Matou Shinji alone in the dark. Yeah, after like tearing him down several levels, he's probably like on the verge of tears now. Yeah, crazed laughter because he's losing his frickin' mind. Sounds about right. He drops down the wall. Matou Shinji crumples down like a puppet with its strings cut and keeps laughing.
なんだ、そうか、そういうことか。
His tongue licks over dry lips. A dull sound. The boy smacks his head hard against the wall behind him, as if trying to break his skull.
要するにさ、あいつがいなくなればいいって言うんだろ、遠坂。
That's not exactly what he said. You can believe that if you want, but you're going to be very disappointed. And even if that comes true, not so. His laughter continues. I think she broke him. Or as she said, he was already broken.
Ja, 行くぞ、さくら。せーの、じゃんけん。
I stick out a clenched fist. Sakura extends an open palm. I have a rock, and Sakura has paper.
やった！私の勝ちですね。
I look at my fist. I did it again. Why do I always use rock as my first move?
それじゃあ夕食の支度は私ということで、先輩はのんびりテレビでも見ててください。
Sakura skips off to the kitchen. She must be happy she gets to make dinner all by herself.
仕方ないか。勝った方が飯を作る約束だもんな。
I mean, if she knows you always pick the same thing, then really you're just giving her the choice. Which can be both good or bad depending on your perspective, you know? You're being nice and giving her the option. You're letting someone else make decisions for you. Depends on perspective, really. I take off my apron and sit down. I don't know about other people, but cooking dinner seems like a favorite pastime for us. It's not really true for me, but Sakura always wants to cook by herself. That's good in a way, but as her senpai, I can't let her do all the work. When we're both bored, like today, we fight over who gets to cook.
やることないし、お茶飲もう。
Maybe you should get some hobbies, Shiro. You ever think about that? I brew some tea and sit at the table. Saber is sleeping in my room, and Fujine won't be coming since she's working overtime. Sakura and I are the only ones here. Am I watching her because I have nothing to do? Sakura is moving briskly about the kitchen, and she looks like she's having fun. Her familiar hair and her crimson ribbon. She handles the plates, she holds the heavy kitchen knife, and places the cabbage on the cutting board. She cuts it with a yell. Sakura tenses up every time she starts to cut something, but she keeps cooking like she's used to it after that. I watch it absent-mindedly. The evening living room. A daily life here with Sakura where time passes slowly. I suddenly realize how hard this life is to obtain. It must be because I'll be going into battle at night. I finally realize how important this time is for me. I don't know what Matou Zoken is planning, but I won't let him touch her. I've come in contact with Sakura too many times the past few days, causing me to be bewildered about her change. I thought I was confused by her femininity? But that's wrong. If I'm confused, it started long before that. I hear her humming in the kitchen. These simple, trivial things are important to me. I pour myself a third cup of tea and watch the red-tinted scenery. I don't know, like this, we're having like a nice moment to calm down after all this like crazy drama and plot derailment. We have like a minute to decompress the scene. Think about what's going on, why things are important to us, you know, what we're really fighting for. I think it's good to have these like short breaks, kind of paces things out. It's like, well, we had drama in the scene before, and the scene before that, and the scene before that, and the scene before that. Now it's like, all right, calm down. You know, we've had, even when we're like cooking and there's other people and we can't talk about things, there's still like some level of tension, but this is like a nice relaxing scene for the character that allows them to decompress and process things. Seems like good writing to include at least a couple of these moments that it's not always go 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 for your character. It's harder to do in like a movie when you have a very limited runtime, but here the book can be as long as you want it to be. So you may as well give your character time to decompress. Makes them and their life seem more realistic. Maybe there's some alcohol in the tea because the passing time feels slow and tender. Nice short day, showing that our hero isn't always go, go, go. It's not always action all the time. The town falls asleep. It's just past 10 o'clock, but it seems like it's midnight. Must be because of all the unexplained comas. There are no lights and nobody is walking about. A clue, huh? I'm not positive, but yeah, the temple's pretty fucking suspicious. The park is a little bit suspicious. But the temple is where we should really be going, right? I'm not sure I don't think this decision matters too much, but I'm pretty sure the temple is where we want to go to. If we say the park, we don't really have any incentive character-wise to go to the park. I mean, we've seen like a couple visions there, but apart from that, nothing. The temple makes more sense. Exactly. We need an in-character reason to be going these places. Any other decision would be weird. But like, we literally killed her and then she somehow came back. Let's have a look and see at the original scene of the fight. We walk to the gate. We can reach the temple in an hour if we hurry. We don't have any time to lose, but... Saber is looking at the outbuilding. She's looking at Sakura's room, where Sakura should now be sleeping.
シロ、戦いに赴く前に話があります。その、朝の続きなのですが。
Oh?
朝って、桜のことか。
はい。桜は自責の念が強すぎる。起きてしまったこと、犯してしまった間違いを、彼女は未来ではなく、現在で償おうとする嫌いがあります。
Which of the soundtracks is this? I like this track. You must be talking about the quarrel they had yesterday. Saber said Sakura was right, so Sakura had no reason to worry about it. But Sakura said she was still at fault, went and apologized to Saber, and had Saber apologize to her instead. Sakura and Saber. Saber must be worried about the difference in their thought process.
それはどういう。
桜は自分を責めすぎるのです。過ちを正すことより悔いることを強要している。だから汚名を返上しようとするのではなく、汚名を刻みつけようとしてしまう。良くも悪くも彼女は自分を重くしている。
So she's like taking any failing or any potential failing as super serious, more than it should be, and rather trying to recover or continue on, rather than trying to continue on with her life, she's just stuck in her failure. Talks with disgust. It sounds like she's talking about herself more than Sakura.
昨夜、私はそれを強く感じました。シロと共にいる時の彼女が特別で、普段はもっと別のものではないのかと。桜はあなたといる時だけ自責の念から解放されている。
Because she has nothing to be guilty about around you? Or is there another reason? That is the source of her concern. Alright. That Sakura is liberated from her guilt only when she's with you? Sakura should be able to live with pride without needing to rely on someone else. Yeah, that's true.
そうか。確かに、桜は内気すぎるからな。俺も気をつけてみる。
Now that Saber mentions it, it's not healthy for a girl Sakura's age to always be busy helping around the house. She says it's fun to be here, but she should at least go outside to hang out once in a while.
ありがとう、セイバー。桜を心配してくれて。聖杯戦争に関係ない桜を気にかけてくれたのはすごく嬉しい。
いいえ、自責に駆られる彼女の気持ちは私にもあったものです。
待てよ、セイバー。一緒に行こ
う。We head to the gate together. We head outside within the silence, trying not to wake Sakura up. We climb over the no trespassing fence into the temple. The Ryudo Temple is now treated as an important material. As important material evidence in the coma incident, as no one is allowed to enter. I wonder if they have any security cameras or anything set up there. Just tape? The night air is not any different. It's warm and it smells like ripe fruit.
中に入るぞ、セイバー。
So it's a good smell? Alright.
はい。シロも気をつけて。
わかってる。危険を察知したらすぐに教えてくれ。
We go through the compound and climb up to the entryway. The wooden hallway is dark and the floor creaks with each step.
とりわけ変わったものはないか。セイバー、どうだ？
私も同じです。ですがこの一帯が異常なのは確かです。この山に踏み入った時から私たちは異なる常識に取り込まれている。
Again, we're surrounded by a different common sense ever since we came on this mountain, so there's like Something going wrong. Okay.
異常を感じないことこそが異常と言えるでしょう。
そうだな。よし、もう少し調べてみよう。この寺、裏側に池があるんだ。あっちの方にもいくつか建物がある。
There's actually a whole lot to investigate around the temple, as I recall. Like, there's trails and all sorts of crazy shit. It's said a dragon lives in that lake. There may be a clue at the place people consider holy. We go out into the hallway and head behind the temple. At that instant, I'm shoved back into the temple by Saber. I realize Saber has pushed me to try to go back out into the hallway, and exit is shut firmly by Saber. I bang on the door. I don't know what kind of magic it is, but the door is as hard as steel. The door refuses to budge, even when I throw my weight against it. And from the other side of the steel-like door, I didn't even sense him. Even though the air is strange here, a servant's presence is a different matter. Magical energy should be apparent if a servant takes form near us. Called presence concealment. But Shiro's not familiar with anyone who has that, so that's fair. Even if he hid his presence, I should be able to tell, let alone Saber. Saber's presence fades. Her footsteps are loud. She must have repelled the assassin's attacks as she charged within range. I look around. I pick up a stick that's about the size of a wooden sword and strengthen it immediately. I have to make this into a sword and break open this door. An ominous feeling, a mysterious uneasiness fills my mind. This place. It feels like a fatal mistake to leave Saber by herself on this mountain, so I have to hurry and... The lights go out. There was no light to begin with. The moonlight has been blocked off by the clouds. I smell something. A smell of rotten meat and sounds of bugs flying around. I glare into the darkness. A snicker. It's that old Magus. He's hiding somewhere. I ready the strengthened weapon. I have no fear, even with a centuries-old monster in front of me. The only thoughts in my mind are of concern for Saber. She runs across the hallway to corner the skull mask. The 15 meters between them have been reduced to 5. Saber should be able to close in with one step and slash her enemy along with the skull mask. But the enemy knows that as well. He uses projectile weapons because he knows he will be no match at close range, and he retreats because he does not want her coming near him. Although not as fast as Saber, the skull still retreats with the speed of a running beast. He slithers across the floor, not slowing down even at the corners. Does he have eyes on the back of his head? Or is the mask on the back of his head? Assassin steadily retreats from his opponent, maintaining the distance between them. A spray of sparks. 3 daggers are released without any motion, but have no effect against Saber. Like Lancer, Saber has protection against projectile weapons. Lancer reads the course of the projectile attacks using the sound of cutting air and the enemy's murderous intent. Saber uses the sound of cutting air and her own instincts. Nice. Imperceivable attacks are not much of a threat against heroic spirits. It's those attacks that cannot be blocked even when detected and understood that are the fatal ones. I like how Lancer reads murderous intent, but, okay. I guess using instincts is basically the same thing. Although in this case, instinct is like magic foresight. Alright. What's your plan now? Is Saber gonna get duped like Lancer? In that regard, Lancer's lance is appropriate to be called the Noble Phantasm. A weapon that always strikes the heart cannot be blocked merely by knowing about it. If one is to oppose that demonic lance, one must prepare a shield overwhelming the magical energy of the lance. Good luck with that. Have great enough luck to change the fate determined by the lance. Also, literally requires luck. Or prevent him from using the lance in the first place. Probably the best way to go about doing things, if you ask me. Compared to that, assassin's daggers are easy to manage. They can be fatal if they strike any vital points, but they're no different from throwing stones. Over 40 dirks have been thrown. Having used up his supply of daggers, Assassin finally stops. Imagine having 40, not like 10 daggers, literally 40 daggers on your person. I assume he summons them with magic. But I'm just imagining in real life having like 40 throwing daggers on yourself. Saber stops as well, hesitating. The enemy that did not want her to come close has stopped. There's something, for sure, and an ominous feeling surrounds Assassin. This is no situation where she can step in without care. Saber knows it's best to kill Assassin now, but she takes a step back in spite of that. She should not advance. The instincts she's sharpened over the years have kept her alive for a long time. Those instincts are screaming. Do not advance. Stay away from the deep darkness.
観念したともセイバー。こちらは玉切れだ。こうなっては一撃で下されると覚悟したのだが、なぜ近寄らぬのかな?
Saber doesn't answer and raises her sword a bit. She points her sword at her enemy. There are 7 meters between them. It will take 2 steps to get close enough to strike. As a swordsman, she must first close in on her opponent. But she has a secret technique that can be used at all ranges, though it can be used only once. Assassin's black cloak flutters. He has no idea where the wind is coming from.
私などに語る口は持たぬか。まあいい。語るは自由だ。思う通りに語らせてもらおうか。
Assassin's voice is strong and clear, in contrast to his appearance. Saber narrows her eyes, thinking that his voice is similar to that of Lancer's.
しかし、よくもまあ弾いたものだ。私の探検、見せないつもりで撃っていたのだが、お前には見えていたのか。
実像は見えてはいないが、奇跡ならば読み取れる。見えないものを恐れるようなら、このような剣は持たん。
Imagine admitting it's a sword right away. Was she just trolling Lancer earlier? Probably. The skull laughs in agreement. Yeah, that's fair. If you have an invisible sword, you should probably be used to fighting with or against invisible weapons. What can he do throwing black daggers at an opponent armed with an invisible sword? Invisible weapons? Yeah. But Assassin keeps on laughing, being displayed with the great difference in the strength of their noble phantasms and their levels as heroic spirits.
そうか。私など初めから敵ではなかったのだな。所詮アサシン。まっとうな英霊に太刀打ちできるはずもない。もとより我らは影に潜むもの。そのような役割に選ばれる英霊など、初めから存在しない。
I don't know. MHX is pretty bad at lurking in the shadows and basically just charges in for, through the front door.
故に、我らが役割は暗殺のみ。サーバントではなくマスターを殺すしか能のないなり。さて、となると、私の標的はただ一人だけだ。理解できるかね、セイバー。私の行動は、すべて君の主を仕留めるためだけのものだと。
シロ。
さよう。お前の主は我が雇い主がもてなしている。私を引き離したところで急がねば虫どもの餌食だぞ。
Light emanates from Saber's sword. Ooh, we got Saber's. We got a clock Saber's aware of. She's got to rush in. She's got to figure out something she can do. Dispatch assassin and hurry the fuck up to save Shiro. Or rather, the golden sword is revealing its true shape.
風のまじないで刀身を隠していたか。なるほど。その風圧ならばその場からでも私を立てる。わざわざ七に踏み込むこともないというわけか。
The black cloak sinks. The prey he was supposed to lure in turns out to have a projectile attack. There's no place for schemes now. If Saber intends to kill Assassin without coming close, then he must close the distance himself to kill her first.
立場が逆になったな、アサシ。この風王結界、見事踏み込んでみせるか。
ひどい女だ。イナゴの群れに飛び込めという。さりとて、このままでは竜の方向が放たれる。これは身体極まった。
I have actually started watching a couple new anime, because there's a couple new anime airing this season. One of them is the, I'm a Spider Now, So What? I liked the first episode of that, it was pretty good. At least the first 15 minutes I'd say were really good. You hang out with, our new protagonist, who got isekai'd as, yes, just a regular fucking spider, man. A regular spider. Well, in Fantasyland. No interaction with anything of the world outside, just attempting not to die, learning how to catch prey, the usual stuff. It's actually really good. The last 5 minutes, not so good. We had some like boring old humans who were like, "Oh, we got isekai'd. What do we do? And they're like at a banquet for some reason. You don't even get the start of their story. You get like a week into their life or something like that. Which is kind of weird because they're not all that entertaining, and they're not interesting, and you're not really interested in them because you're like halfway through their life story. But the first 3/4 where you're focused on the main character, who's a spider, that's kind of interesting. I liked it. I've read the manga now, and the manga is pretty good for the most part. It's fairly long, at least 10 volumes. There's like 40-ish chapters of it. And we never turn into a human, we never start associating with people heavily. The whole time you're basically solo. Like the main dialogue with the protagonist is them talking to themselves or to their split personalities. Like you encounter some other people, but you kind of briefly pass on them. It's not like you ever make a party or team up. Which is a nice change of pace from having like a lot of characters and a lot of dialogue. The protagonist basically is on their own the whole time. That was pretty good. I finally got around to watching Sword of the Stranger today, actually. I've been wanting to watch that movie for a while. I heard it was really good, and you know what? It actually was good. It wasn't the most unpredictable movie, but the animation was very solid. Design was good. Sound design was good. Plot was fairly predictable, but it wasn't like anything you hated. You were like, yeah, okay, I'll watch this. It's like a fairly solid action movie. One of the details I liked was, let's see, they're shooting some fire arrows at some point, and the buildings don't all catch on fire because it's been raining the last couple days and it's snowing like today. So the fire isn't exactly super effective against buildings. Half of the time it just puts itself out, if it ignites at all. I liked a lot of the characters when they're fighting in heavy snow, they slip all the time. Even if they're supposed to be like expert swordsmen, it's like the snow's loose. It's not packed down at all. So like you step, and if you're running, you slide because you're on top. It's like snow on top of wood. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, it was a pretty solid movie. I'd highly recommend it. There's not really anything terrible about it. Like, I couldn't think of anything where I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. Like, maybe the characters weren't like the most appealing characters. Like, you're never like, oh man, I love this character. He was so cool. He's the best guy ever. But yeah, I'd say lack of iconic characters, maybe. None of the characters are like super standout. Awesome, but the main two characters are like a Ronin and a kid, so you know, if they were like legendary people who stood out and had like crazy personality or something, it'd be kind of weird. It felt a little bit more grounded to have the protagonist be like more of a normal person than anyone who stands out. I mean, he's hiding the fact that he has red hair, but that's about it. You know, he's got the standard tragic military backstory, but like nothing too crazy going on with him. Nobody randomly acquires a bajillion superpowers, nothing like that, so it was nice to have something that felt a little bit more grounded after all this high fantasy and power fantasy stuff. Like, you know, every fantasy anime these days is like, well, you're a normal person who's been transported to another world, and you're going to become God in the next 2 weeks. And here it's like, just regular, you know, I don't know, it's in Ming Dynasty era China, so that's like the 1500s in China or something like that. Like, it's a few centuries ago. They just had, I think they had, like, one guy had a gun. That was the highest tech shit they had. They had a gun and a couple explosive barrels. It's like, you know, 15th, 16th century AD. It seemed mostly period accurate. That's pretty good. What are some of the anime you've been waiting for some time? Some of the anime I've been waiting for some time? I've been waiting a little bit for Log Horizon. I last watched Log Horizon when the 2nd season was airing. Looking forward to the 3rd season. But I wasn't aware it was coming out, but I was hoping if the 3rd one came out it would be good. Been kind of waiting for the next season of ReZero, even though it's only been a season's wait. I've been looking forward to that. Personally, like, I really enjoy ReZero. It's a nice change of pace. A lot of the characters are interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the next episode of that. Those are some of the series that are highest on the list that I've been waiting for. I don't know if I've been waiting so much for like the new season of Attack on Titan. More like dreading and hoping that it's different than the original. ReZero is just an enjoyable series for me. I'd like to see more of it. What else is good that I'm looking forward to? I can't remember. There's a few other series that are airing right now. I haven't really... You're also waiting for Log Horizon? Yeah, when is the next episode of Log Horizon? Season 3 air date. January 13th. Okay, we got a couple days. We're recording this. Days, so it's like Wednesday. It's not too bad. Not too far out. I think Thursday is redo of Healer, which, I mean, it looks like more fantasy trash, so I'll probably watch it, but if I wasn't going to watch it, it's certainly on my radar now, as it's been getting all sorts of news attention. Alright. So Saber's trying to reverse the ranged versus melee dynamic by using invisible air. The skull mask crawls on the ground. It looks like a spider on a wall. The compressed wind becomes a swirl of vacuum about to be released at Assassin. He must be insane. Does he think he can survive the fatal whirlwind simply by lying on the ground?
さて、どう見てもこれで最後になろう。その前に語らせてもらおうか、セイバー。お前は1対1ならば私に勝つと言ったな。
I believe she said that. Saber raises her sword. He cannot withdraw even when he's talking. Saber is staring at Assassin. Even if Assassin were to teleport, she would kill him before it even took place.
だからこそ私をマスターから引き離した。主を守るというその判断は正しい。
Her sword is raised above her head. With the attack poised to strike, Assassin crawls even lower. I don't know why Assassin's crawling or doing any of this in the first place, considering he just cast an hold up. Lancer has magic resistance C. And it says magic, not curses. And his was instantly bypassed by a ranged attack that had no telegraph. So, I don't know why you wouldn't just try to do the same thing with Saber. Have you not tried to do that? Anyway. Like, why is he getting close when he can just instantly kill her by conjuring her heart? Anyway.
だが、そこにはお前自身を守るということが含まれていたのかな?
An inquiring voice. To that. Saber replies with a single attack. The match is decided. The windstorm is like a heavenly dragon, its serpentine body winding about to devour its prey. There's no chance of defense or evasion. This is like Lancer's lance. This is a blow that cannot be blocked unless one has more magical energy than invisible air. Assassin's magical energy is far shorter Saber's. The only way for him to survive the attack was to prevent Saber from releasing it. But that is too late, and the whirlwind has already been released. Who do you think is stronger, Berserker Coup or Herc? Probably Herc, because he has that stupid God Hand power, but if he didn't, I don't know. We'd see. Berserker Coup is probably going to be cool. I hope they release a proper one instead of Dino Coup, the mutated sort of Berserker Coup that's not actually Berserker Coup. But I don't see that happening for a while. His black cloak will be torn to shreds a mere second after the blade descends. The dislocation of death closes in with a swirl. With that in front of him, Assassin charges at the wave of vacuum with a yell of delight. An attack aimed for the neck. Saber repels it at once, and the black figure vaults overhead to land behind her. In a flash, she turns and slashes behind her, but Assassin has already jumped out of range. And at the same time, the ominous presence she had been feeling has covered the ground beneath her.
さて、2つほど運がなかったな、セイバー。
The shadow expands. The mud-light pollution invades on her silver.
一つは相性。陣よけのまじないは砂漠を行く者には必須でな。
He's completely immune to damage.
唯一の魔術が風よけの皆であり。
He took 0 damage from the wind, just jumped right through it. Seems good. Darkness swallows the pathway. A shadow that does not reveal itself, even in spite of the white moonlight. And he controls this darkness. That seems pretty fucking strong. She sees it dimly through the haze of her fading consciousness.
そうだ、セイバー。もう一つは、この場所を戦いの場に選んだことだ。ここには良くないものが住むと。
I don't know why people think Assassin's bad, considering he can control the darkness like this. Like, He's standing further in the darkness and doesn't get killed or even threatened while he's standing still. But Saber is instantly caught. She cannot even hear Assassin's words. She would disappear in a matter of seconds. This shadow swallows servants. Apparently not, because Assassins hang out with it twice. Her body detests it before her fading mind. She doesn't care how. She has to escape, even if she has to use all her magical energy. Only her feet have been engulfed. If she fights with all her power, she can still break free. You could also just... You're a servant, you could chop your legs off, probably. Even if she may lose most of her magical energy in both her feet, exactly. Escaping this shadow is the top priority now. But... the shadow is not her only enemy. How is the... Okay. Again, why is the shadow not eating Assassin? He's right there. He's not using presence concealment. But again, perfectly fine. Nobody ever answers this when I say how does Shadow not control this. The skull watching Saber get swallowed is death that finishes her off. I swear to God, I'm just gonna screen cap this right now. I'm gonna screen cap this right now. Next person who says he doesn't control it is completely wrong. Let's put this in paint. Pasta. And done. I've been waiting to find this line. Because people always say that cursed arm is trash, and I'm like, he can literally control the darkness. We've been over this multiple times. It's like, here we go. He literally walked by it. It didn't touch him. It didn't attack him. He sat right beside it. Didn't do shit to him. He's perfectly visible, fighting a fight with someone, and it always goes for someone else. The shadow keeps invading. Okay. Her existence rots from her feet. She cannot feel her toes or her feet. Her legs are already something that doesn't exist in this world. Murderous intent lights up in the skull. I mean, it looks like the same skull to me, but yeah, I'll go with that. Faint traces of magical energy gather in his right arm. Assassin's right arm is a stick. A deformed arm without a hand cannot be used as an arm. It cannot hold a dagger, nor can it be used to strike someone. But now that arm bends. With a snap of breaking bones, it flaps like a tattered wing. It is an abomination. What a long arm. The clubbed stump at its end was actually the elbow. The arm was folded back at the elbow, with the hand stitched to Assassin's shoulder. Saber's mind freezes. It'll reach. That arm can reach her. It will reach her and rip out her heart. His arm flaps, sending a shudder through her body, and the cursed arm is thrust like a lance. A sound of cutting meat and gushing blood. Her blood drips onto the floor, staining the shadow in crimson. Madness leaks out from the skull mask. The outstretched arm is stained red. After finishing its job, the arm folds back to Assassin. And is severed at the elbow. Oh, that's new. That's new. That doesn't happen in the movie. Her upraised sword falls to the ground. Assassin's cursed arm did not reach Saber. Saber's sword cut the cursed arm before it could gouge out the reflected image of her heart. No matter how cornered she may be, Assassin's noble phantasm is not enough to kill Saber. No. As she's blocked Lancer's lance, which reverses cause and effect, she cannot allow herself to be defeated by this cursed arm. Why did he even use the cursed arm when he can just instantly kill you with a death curse? Yeah, that's new. I mean, in the movie, when Lancer dies, he uses his cursed arm as well, right? However, in the visual novel, Lancer doesn't die to the cursed arm. You know how Lancer dies? I don't remember if you were reading it. Lancer actually dies instantly from a death curse that he casts that bypasses magic resistance because it's a curse and not a spell. It's also described as a basic Arabic curse, meaning anyone could learn it. He's like, literally anyone could know this spell and instantly kill servants. I'm like, are you serious? So, I mean, this scene works better. It's like, if someone asked me how to prepare for a Holy Grail War, I would say go to Iraq or wherever, learn basic Arabic curses, and just destroy servants, no problem. Like, what, Ku's status? Completely bypassed and instantly killed him. With no telegraph, no spell, he just instantly collapsed dead. Magic resistance C, completely negated. Like, I think there's someone with magic resistance B, right? Yeah. It's like, if you can completely bypass C, maybe you can do something with B or A. You didn't know that? Yeah, it's actually crazy. Ku specifically says, wow, a basic Middle Eastern curse that anyone could learn. I'm like, okay, basic Arabic curse anyone could learn. I'm like, wow, why doesn't everyone know that when they're preparing for a Grail War? If it's basic. So that's new. This is also new. She, like, cuts off his arm. That's her last act of resistance. She put the power to escape into that attack. She has no power to escape now, and even if she did, it's too late. The ominous presence now emanates from within herself. So, again, we've been sitting here for 5 minutes. Why is the Shadow not attacking Assassin? He's literally just sitting there, throwing out attacks. I still have no one. Like, who answers this? The Shadow has invaded her legs and is up to her waist. Why does the Shadow also jump after Assassin? She's becoming a part of this darkness, which swallows up even the moonlight. And then, everything is too late. The Shadow creeps up. As her vision fades, the Silver Swordsman. And it's just one last apologetic gasp before sinking into the deep mud. Whew. Interlude out. That's not a good sign. Matou Zoken is standing there, his figure just like before. His body, which Archer sliced in two before my eyes, is whole once more. The old Magus that could only wait for death is laughing, as if that event was an illusion. I don't know how he did it, but if he really did recover from that state, it's more on a level of restoration than recovery. It's not just healing a wound. It takes great magic to restore a piece of one's body that's been lost. Then isn't this called immortality? Yeah. How do you kill someone that can regenerate from losing the entire bottom half of their body in a day? Wait, let's double check that. Yes, literally a day. Alright. I stand there while pointing the strengthened stick at Zoken. I can't charge at Zoken, nor can I retreat to follow Saber. If Zoken is immortal, a scrap of wood will never be able to match him.
わしを仕留めるか、サーバントの後を追うか。どちらにせよ、足を動かさねば始まるまいて。
Something is squirming around the old Magus as he speaks. It's not just his surroundings. The darkness itself is moving, blocking the moonlight. I can tell, even though I can't see them. The darkness is probably swarms of worms. He literally blotted out the moon with worms, and that's like an open building. Like, he covered an entire wall with... Just imagine, all this black, this was actually previously lit up. You could see the terrain. Imagine having that many worms. The walls of this temple are covered in something darker than darkness itself. This space is filled with the sound of creeping worms and the smell of rotten meat.
どうした？何をためらう？先日わしの腹を立ってくれたのはお主たちであろう。
It's obvious he's enjoying this. I can't fight off thousands of worms with just this stick. I'll be swallowed in those worms once Zoken gives the order. Or maybe. I might be able to escape if I sprint for the exit. They're just worms, even if it's just a horde of them. It should take them more than a few seconds to kill a human being.
よいぞ。わしはいくらでも待とう。セイバーの帰還を信じて待ち続けるか、その武器でわしを仕留めるか、それとも我が虫どもを振り払い外に出るか、好きな死に方を選ぶがよい。
It seems he has no intention of letting me go. The worms increase in number as we stand here, glaring at one another. And then we're gonna have a fun time. Because I think it would be funny to attack Zoken. It is specifically said we can't attack Zoken. So let's see what happens when we actually do attack Zoken. It's obvious the situation is getting worse by the second. And I'll escape this danger while I can still move. I'll beat that old Magus before all those worms can crawl at my body. My attack doesn't feel effective. A diagonal slash cuts the old Magus from shoulder to hip. Scraps of flesh scatter across the temple.
なるほどなるほど。思い切りの良い小僧ではないか。
If we were watching a different anime, this would be a really good idea. The head on the ground laughs. My weapon crumbles to dust. Damn. He sacrificed his body just to rot the stick I strengthened.
爪じゃな。決起に流行って唯一の武器を失うとは、やはや若い者は我慢が足らんの。
I run, stepping on the worms in my way. Death follows close on my heels. I try to escape the waves of worms attacking me. I ram the black wall with my shoulder. Unable to stop my momentum, I fall and roll on the ground. The worms aren't coming after me. It must be because I ran frantically as I end up out on the other side of the compound. Alright. I must have landed funny as my whole body is hurt. I have to find Saber as fast as I can. I have a bad feeling. I have to see Saber's face to reassure myself that she's alright. The water surface rustles. Sensing danger, I jump back. I get my feet away from the wet mud. But I'm only able to jump back for a split second. A sharp pain. I feel something strange on my heel and look down. It's red. My feet are missing from the heels down. I stepped on numerous worms during my escape. The strengthened stick rotted just by slashing at Zoken. Then it's natural for my feet, which stepped on those worms, to follow the same fate. Who would have guessed this would happen? I try to crawl out of the mud using my arms.
いやいや、惜しいの小僧。判断自体は間違えていなかったのだが、 実力が伴わなんだ。
The worm user's voice echoes. Your decision was correct, but you lacked the necessary skill. The muddy ground. Since ancient times, spiders have dwelt in the damp places of the earth.
さて、セイバーは手に入れた。残念よの。お主を生かす最後の理由もこれで消えてしもうたわ。
Worms I've never seen before come scattering down. Hundreds of poisons that bite on my skin, crawl in my flesh, and melt my bones. I had to bear the unimaginable pain until my consciousness faded away. End. Alright, time for some advice. This is a new Tiger Jojo. Don't usually have that background. Okay, here we go.
些細な選択ミスでデッドした城を救ういつもおなじみタイガー道場です。今回は選択ミスによるデッドエンド。
I can see that.
難しい説明はしないから直前の選択肢に戻って違う行動を。
そこ不法侵入者。手戻り。嘘乗っ取りおこがましい。
Where could we have possibly gone wrong? There was only one decision to make. How could we have made that decision wrong?
私がいない間に何をしているか、元弟子1号。
違和感なく溶け込んだのにあっけなく見破られた。
どの面下げてそういうこと言うかな、このブルマは。で、どういうつもりよ。あなた本編が忙しいから道場には来ないんじゃなかったっけ？
Yeah.
これはそのちょっと予想外のパワーバランスになってきたっていうか、ほらタイが一人じゃ寂しいだろうから帰ってきたっていうか。
She had a bit of free time, I guess. She's not needed in the plot for the next couple scenes.
それで？
And had like 3 or 4 scenes previously where she wasn't needed. Fair enough.
全身全霊で断る。路頭に迷えブルマッコ。
やったー。だからタイガってば大嫌い。こうなったら力ずくだ。見てなさい。次に来るときは問答無用で征服してやるんだから。
How quickly can we get ourselves killed again? It's a while.
わっはっは。望むところよ悪魔っ子め。
Unless one of those other decisions leads to our death, I think it's gonna be a while.
どこまでできるか楽しみに待つとしよう。
Typically, like, multiple decisions that lead to death will probably give you the same ending. Alright, so that wasn't a great decision, but it was funny. I was curious to see what would happen if we tried to run through, you know? It's like... Okay. Do we want to trust Saber and wait for her, or use the command spell? We could try and conjure Saber, see if that saves us. Or Zoken would probably do the same thing in response, but... We can either trust Saber or use the command spell. I'm thinking both of these are options, because we know how this already ended with the interlude. Which means this one might also... it's like more like a, do we trust Saber, or do we just say fuck it and try to start this? Difficult decision. I feel like they both have the same, I feel like they both have similar outcomes. This one we know she's gone. This one we prompt things. I think we'll go with try to summon her immediately. No. I'm thinking we'll trust Saber and wait for her. I think Shiro would trust someone, right? He trusts Saber. No. I can't move recklessly. I'm worried about Saber. I want to run to her to see if she's alright. But that means turning my back to Zoken. In this situation, doing so will be fatal. Yeah. Saber said, please protect yourself there, Shiro. Then I have to make my stand no matter what. Exactly. Follow the instructions.
Oh, なるほどなるほど。良い信頼関係を持ったものじゃ。
I'm not going to let his words tempt me. I tighten my grip on my weapon and concentrate, anticipating his attacks.
よかろう。では、根比べじゃ。お主の判断が正しかったかどうか、答えを待つがよい。
Murderous intent disappears from Zoken. The old Magus steps back and fades away as if melting into the darkness of the worms. His presence is almost gone. I glare at Zoken, who should still be in front of me. And after 1 minute, I hear wind blowing far off, and sudden pain shoots through my left hand. My left hand is prickling. My command spell is hurting as if it's bleeding.
Saber.
I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling. I have a very bad feeling. The pain on my left hand. The sound of wind has stopped. The old Magus is laughing with murderous intent that's almost visible.
どうやら片付いたようじゃな。お主もマスターならばわかろう。オノガサーバントがこの世から消滅した事実がな。
My brain stops. My vision freezes. What is this guy saying?
何をほけておる。セーバーは死んだ。隠したと侮ったアサシンに敗れた。そんなこともわからんのか、小僧。
What's he saying? My left hand hurts. My left hand certainly hurts. My command spell is still there. It's fading, but it's still there. The Saber should be coming here any second now.
Saber! Kai!
I scream as if to erase the pain on my left hand, and put as much magical energy as I can into my left hand. I don't know how to use the command spell, but if this can answer the Master's wish, it should bring Saber here right away. There's no response. Command spell was about to activate, but suddenly stopped. There's nothing wrong with it. If there's a problem, it's on Saber's end.
無駄なこと。レイジュといえど、失われたサーバントを蘇らせることはできん。さて、巡りの悪いお主でも理解できたろう。セーバーはとうに我がサーバントによって死に絶えたわ。
Let's go through that phrasing in the previous arc, or the suicide one, where he says, "Ah, I've acquired Saber now." Here he says, "Saber's been killed by my servant." But however, the intermission where the events actually happen hasn't changed. So I'm pretty sure we have Shadow Control as Hassan's real Phantasm. That's like his best trick, man. It's great. Let's keep being my impression, even having seen everything.
お前はこれで用済みよ、小僧。セーバーともども我が聖地で死に絶えるがよい。
言ってんじゃねえぞ、てめえ！
I run. I charge at the enemy in front of me as if to shake off the ominous thought and the pain on my left hand. How does this work better for us? I charge at Zoken and swing my weapon with full force. I swing my weapon down on his head. But something obstructs me and my whole body is flung away. My back slams against the wall. I must have been hit in the stomach as I can't breathe. My back is numb as if scorched with fire. I hear worms crawling about by my ear. The worms by the wall scatter to avoid being crushed by my landing. Even the squirming sounds have a mocking tone.
では小僧の始末もお主に任せよう。セーバーに比べれば楽な作業、ゆるりと楽しむがいい。
Zoken disappears. And in his place, a white skull mask is smiling in the darkness. That must be the servant assassin. An assassin with a black outfit and a white mask, appropriate for Matou Zoken. I'm going to die. Pain on my left hand, my numb mind. My heart accepts the death coming and the next moment pounds loudly. And I accept the weapons thrown at my forehead, throat, heart, and stomach. How did he get 4 more? Like I said, he probably summons them with magic. A flash of silver light repels the weapons. The 4 daggers that tried to take my life are blocked with a sword. There's only one person who could do such a thing. My left hand still hurts. The command spell is still there. Then... I raise my head. The one who has come to protect me from the white masked servant is... I guess they're both equally surprised. Is it going to state that next? A servant dressed in black, just like Assassin. The servant we clearly killed. Hey, how's it going, Grierg? There's no doubt about it. This is Shinji's servant, Ryder. Why is she here, and why did she save me? The skull answers Zoken's screamed command. The long hair flutters. Ryder silently turns to Assassin and confronts the daggers that are fired like rain. They move too quickly for mere human eyes to follow. The masked figure leaps about the temple. He jumps from the wall to the ceiling, and then from the ceiling to the floor, hurling daggers from each position. Coming from all directions, the daggers can neither be blocked nor avoided. The relentless onslaught carpets the floor in knives within seconds. Ryder can't manage this. I know how strong she is from the battle with Saber. Assassin's attack is something even Saber would have trouble blocking. It's natural for Ryder, who was defeated by Saber in one blow, not to be able to cope with the attack. The white skull mercilessly fires his weapons. It looks like an attack containing irritation. I realize the abnormality after the superiority is made clear. They've not hit her. You finished Salem, congratulations. Fun singularity, man. My favorite play is the one with all the Jeans. And my favorite line is the one where Cersei thinks sailors shouldn't have human intelligence and should probably be turned into bacon. I actually have a screen cap of that on my phone. It's great. Not a single one of the daggers has struck its target. A voice comes from overhead. Apparently out of knives, Assassin looks down at his enemy with undisguised loathing. There. Exists one giant serpent. I mean, I guess? I can't believe it. So many. Ryder evaded the countless daggers with pure speed. It's different from when she saved me. Ryder avoided all the daggers while crawling on the ground, as if saying there was no need to repel them. Wait, come again? She was crawling on the ground and just dodged them all? I'm not sure how to visualize that, but that's her ending stance, I guess. Assassin stares at Ryder while clinging to the ceiling. Ryder is different from before. Her magical energy and coercion is on a whole new level. Even if she's not as strong as Saber, she certainly is stronger than Assassin.
貴様なぜ
Ryder doesn't answer, but her body sinks even lower. You can tell it's got Takeuchi's art because he can't draw. That might be true. That might be true. He's not an ass man. And this art is somewhat dated. Could be worse. The figure looks good. I'm not a figure artist. I definitely can't tell if anything's like off, misproportioned. But it looks mostly good. The right leg, I have like a couple questions how it's posed, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be like almost symmetrical to the left leg. Do you hope Medusa gets a summer version this year? Oh man, I hope Medusa gets a summer version. Medusa or Medei, they both need more attention. Also, I don't know about you, but when I see this hair on the ground, my first thought is at some point she's gonna like get tangled in her own hair. Like it's gonna be a serious problem at some point. You're gonna like step on your hair, try to move, and pull hair out of your head. Like I can see it now if you're shuffling around like this on the ground. You move forward, step on your hair, push forward, and oh, that's painful. I hope Medusa gets a summer version this year. That'd be exciting. The instant I realize her movement is a gesture to aim at her prey. Ryder jumps up to the ceiling, and Assassin jumps down to the floor, their blades clashing in midair. They land, facing away from each other. Ryder is unwounded. In contrast, Ryder's dagger is piercing Assassin's shoulder. Assassin tries to pull out the dagger in his shoulder. And then, with a clinking of chain links, Ryder hurls Assassin through the air. I like the invisible chain. The skull mask lets out a scream of anguish. Not saying a word, Ryder continues to mercilessly swing Assassin about the room. It's just like a flail. Unable to do anything, Assassin is smashed against every surface in the room, his limbs bending in all directions. I duck to avoid Assassin coming around with a whirlwind. It's a very satisfying beatdown, isn't it? This isn't on a level of being strong. After flailing Assassin to her content, she uses the centrifugal force and lets go. It's a hammer throw. Assassin, his bones broken, is thrown at a wall head first. He flies away. Like a piece of lifeless trash, the masked servant bounces through the compound, out the gate, and down the stairs, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Just imagine, like, so the perspective from this shot, we're standing near the gate, right? Just imagine, like, it says he bounces, so it's like he gets thrown from the window, hits, like, the ground, he bounces through the compound, so he, like, lands at least once in here, then bounces again out the gate, and then slides down the stair, like, bounces down the stairs behind us, which you've seen the stairs, right? That's a long trip to be bouncing. Kind of a funny picture if there's like a line of blood there. Yeah, how brutal. I'm sure servants aren't so weak as to die from that, but he should be able to continue fighting at the very least. Disappointingly, she didn't kill him. Kind of a mistake. Zokin's presence disappears. The old Magus must think he's at a disadvantage since he flees after snarling a curse at Ryder. The worms that were squirming in the corner disappear, following their master. Again, look at the size. This is like This is not actually a small compound. This is like 2 stories. This is like 1.5, 2 stories high. Imagine having enough worms there to like block out the light. That's a shit ton of worms, man. I'm brought back to my senses by the pain from my stomach where Assassin hit me. Only Ryder and I are in the temple now. I take a deep breath and try to calm down. Then, I realize that the only pain I feel is in my stomach and back. Instinctively, I know what that means. I endure the dizziness as I head out to the hallway.
待ちなさい。一人で行動するのは危険です。
お前
There's no enmity coming from Ryder. It seems she actually came to help me.
お前どうして
I don't care why she saved me. More importantly,
お前はシンジのサーバントだろう。なのにどうして俺を助けてくれたんだ
I want to go there quickly. Why am I taking my time?
あなたを死なせてはいけないと命じられています。私は主の命に従っただけです。
I see. That's fine. I don't believe her, but it's good that I got an answer. She's just trying to follow Master's orders, alright. Medea and Medusa Lily? Get it. No, I don't want them to get a summer version. Come on, come on. Medea Lily doesn't need a summer version. Adult one. Like, think of how good Summer Carmilla is. Summer Carmilla is great. We could have another of that style with Medea. Or we could go with something a little bit more fun and have Medusa. Come on. Don't do that, DW. Don't give the Lily version summer first. We already have that problem with Jean. Jean Alter Santa Lily gets a special version before anyone else. At least the adult ones have summer versions now too. More importantly, I have to hurry and go there. I understand right away that this is the place. The corridor is dead silent. The whole place is destroyed as if a storm passed by. In it is a small red stain on the only part of the ground that hasn't been destroyed. I can't tell whose blood this is, but my legs lose strength the instant I see it, and I crumple to my knees. I reach out and touch it. The blood is dry and it doesn't stick to my fingers. The only thing the stain tells me is that she disappeared here.
私の役割はあなたを守ることです、シロ。
How many times did I hear that line? Those words were a comfort and a source of worry. She only cared about me, and she never said anything about protecting herself. I scratched at the mark. Saber fought here and fell here. That's what happens in battle. I knew before I made a contract with her that this would be a battle to the death. I accepted the fact and took her hand, and she merely answered me. The girl who protected me, even though she was smaller than me. When I told her I wanted to put priority on the Black Shadow over the Holy Grail, she simply nodded, ignoring the premonitions of her end. And this is the result. I lost her, lost my rights as a master, and am back to being just an amateur. I'm now alone with no means of fighting. I have to carry through with what I have to do. I slowly rub the bloodstain one last time. That's it. I don't bow or thank her, and I let my fingers go. Pain assails my left hand and it disappears. The moment I acknowledge her death and say goodbye, the command spell on my hand disappears without a trace. One does not lose the command spell just because one has lost his servant. It only disappears when the Magus loses his right to be a master.
そうか。つまり俺は
I don't know what happened here tonight. There's only one certainty. I lost Saber, and lost my rights as a master. Still not sure why that happened in the first place. Like, I can understand Saber dying, but I don't know why the command spells all got eaten as well. The movie didn't explain that one either, but hey, that's why we're reading this. I leave the Ryudo Temple. My stomach and back seem to be wounded badly, but I'm not worried about the pain right now.
送ります。敵がいなくなったとはいえ、夜道の一人歩きは危険ですから。
I stop unintentionally. All of Ryder's words tonight are unexpected.
わからないな。それもお前のマスターの命令か。
いえ、そのような命令は受けてはいません。これは私個人の感情です。
そっか。それなら信じるけど、見送りはいい。俺たちは敵同士だろう。なら、そこまで世話にはなれない。
True. It's also not like she can actually fight the shadow.
敵同士。では、あなたはまだ私たちと戦うつもりですか？セイバーを失った魔術師でもないあなたが。
You always read it as servant's presence directly linked to command spells still being there. How is Shinji a master in Unlimited Blade Works with Gilgamesh? His servant got clearly axed, he acknowledged it being destroyed and beaten, and then he was somehow able to acquire Gilgamesh as a servant. Servant was clearly gone, literally disintegrated. Or, another case, clearly died, still standing. Like, we clearly killed her. Cut her in half. She disintegrated. Did Shinji use command spells on Guilt? No, but he was still a master. And it says, one does not lose command spells because one has lost his servant. It only disappears when the Magus loses his right to be a master. Therefore, for whatever reason, Shiro has lost his right to be a master when Saber died, but Shinji didn't, which is weird. It's an unusual change. Because if this was the case and you lose all your command spells, then you can't control your servant, and you can't make a new pact with new servants. Or at least you can't feed them energy, right? Because that's the whole reason that's ostensibly given why you kill. It's also given in this route why you kill other masters, because they can still, as long as they have command spells, they can still make contracts with other servants. So the fact that he loses the command spells here is really weird, because that's not even like a unique dialogue section to one of the routes. That's one of the common dialogues for all three routes, is the standard explanation of the Holy Grail War, and one of the things they say is always you keep your command spells when your servant dies and you can make a contract with a new one. We don't know. Shinji didn't use any command spells, and he had like a book or something to use as command spells for whatever reason in Fate and this route. Which maybe explains why, but like the explanation we're given typically is that you still have your command spells when someone dies. Now, it's because the shadow grabbed her, but it's kind of weird. Maybe Shiro's secretly given up. Maybe. But again, if the giving up part removed your command spells, if you go back, when you go to the first decision, you have to get all your command spells stripped off of you. You can't just give up. Yeah, we still have the will to fight. I don't answer her. First of all, I never said I'm out of this war.
そう。わかりました。せいぜい道中気をつけなさい。
Her long hair flutters. Ryder heads to the mountain gate ahead of me. Is it because she looks so defenseless?
Thank you.
I mutter something I forgot to tell her earlier.
Eh?
She turns around, looking surprised. I'm embarrassed to see a reaction like that, but I have to properly thank her.
あなたは今、何と言いました？
And she's asking me seriously, too. It's awkward to stare at her straight on, so I avert my gaze.
だから、ありがとうって言ったんだ。お前に助けてもらわなかったら、死んでただろう。見ての通り、今は何も返せない。だから、せめて礼ぐらい言っとかないと、お前に悪い。
お気になさらず。私は主の命に従ったまでです。主の命が変われば、すぐにでもあなたを殺します。
With those cold, emotionless words, Ryder disappears through the mountain gate.
だろうな。だから世話にはならないって言ったんだ。
I start walking after Ryder disappears. I can think later as to why Ryder saved me. It takes an hour to get home. I have to shake off the lingering memory in her in that short time. Lingering memory of her in that short. That'd be a long fucking walk, man. Like, you got no one to talk to, nothing to do, but just sit there and think about Saber. That would be fucking miserable, man. Shit. I would not want to do that walk. That'd be like the worst part. I don't think I would reject Ryder. I wouldn't have rejected Ryder's offer to walk me home, even if I didn't want to be in her debt. Cause man, you get like that whole hour to just think about how this awesome person you just met and have been living with that you like really like is dead and gone. Like man, that's a rough walk. Be a rough hour, man. I return to my house. It's already past 1 o'clock. I put my hand over my mouth as I cough up blood. My stomach still hurts from Assassin's attack, and my back still burns from hitting the wall. I don't know how badly wounded my stomach is, but I bet my back is just scratched. The wounds that healed so quickly before aren't healing at all.
そうか。以前に戻ったんだよな。そりゃ。
When I had my contract with Saber, wounds healed themselves. But that's lost. Even a slight wound could prove fatal now.
先輩。
Oh, look who's awake at 1 a.m. And then, when I go into the front hallway, I find Sakura waiting for me.
さくら、どうしたんだこんな夜更けに。もしかして起こしちゃったか
Yeah, rip Saber, man. Fucking rough shit, man, bro. Oh.
寝つけなくて夜更かししていたんです。そしたら先輩の靴がなかったからどこかに出かけたのかなって。
なあ、ちょっと出歩いてた。
I was just taking a walk. Coughs up blood. That's the equivalent of Sakura in the other routes. Being like, oh, I'm clumsy. I'm clumsy, and it's like black eye, bruised shoulder. And you're like, I'm clumsy. How did you get a black eye again? And bruised wrist? Like, where are you getting all these bruises? What are you doing? You know, people always say, oh, I fell down the stairs. Yeah, okay. Come to think of it, the light was on when I came home. Then was Sakura waiting here the whole time?
さくら、ずっと玄関で待ってたのか
Hey, you always gotta do that. Ah, I've been expecting you. You can't do the I've been expecting you if you aren't there the whole time.
いえ、そんなことないです。ちょっとおトイレに寄っただけで、たまたま玄関にいただけですよ。
Were you waiting for us, Sakura? Were you waiting for us? Does that face say, no, I definitely wasn't waiting for you? I'm not sure I buy that. Yep, she was waiting here. It's been over 3 hours since Saber and I left. Maybe Sakura noticed right away and was waiting here all this time.
それより先輩、お茶にしませんか？こんな時間ですけど、あったかいお茶を飲んでゆっくりすれば元気が出ますから。
I'm surprised. Sakura is really pushy right now. It must really look terrible if she's not forcing herself to act this way. Yeah, you look so bad. It's like, hey, you get home, you're coughing up blood. You're like, there's probably tears, dried tears on your face, and you're like half dead. And she's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. Do you want some tea? It's like, we're not gonna talk about this. You look like you just had the worst day of your life. And your response to having the worst day of your life was, I went for a walk. Rin is still best girl in your opinion? Alright, that's fair. I think we have to finish the entirety of all 3 routes to make a informed decision, since the Rin route comes before the Sakura route. And I'm still leaning towards Rin. But Sakura is doing Sakura is making a very compelling argument for herself.
頼む。それと、ただいま。
She didn't put much of a... Sakura doesn't put up much of a fight in the Unlimited Blade Works route, but in this route she's doing a lot better. It's on multiple platforms. Fade's on YouTube right now. I take off my shoes and go into the hallway. I hold my aching stomach and head to the living room. With me in front of her. Well, it's better than nothing, I'd say. Coming back to an empty house and having to go to bed by yourself would be just as miserable and lonely. I'd be very grateful for Sakura here. Sakura looks relieved. I wince with pain, but lie on the cushion and bear it. The disinfectant keeps stinging my back. The sizzling sound makes it feel like I'm getting my back scorched.
Sakura, 痛い。消毒薬はもういいから、傷口を拭いてガーゼでも貼っといてくれ。
Oh, I understand. You didn't say anything. You're just getting it. I could. It'd be like having Sakura. Wow, the disrespect. Just get a pet. It's like the same as having Sakura around. Wow, someone doesn't like Sakura.
ダメです。背中一面真っ赤なんですから、ちゃんと消毒しないといけません。それに、痛いのは当たり前です。こんな大怪我をして帰ってきたんですから、少しは我慢してください。
You can't do that. Alright, coke with it. That's what you're talking about. It can't help you make dinner. It can't go to archery practice with you. It can't hold a competent... It can't hold conversation. Well, most cats can't. I don't know. I've played a few games where cats can talk. Like my current background. Oh no, that's Dark Souls 3, never mind. I was like, my current desktop, it's Dark Souls 3, my bad. Dark Souls 2, the cat can talk. And also turn invisible. That's just a thing cats can do. They don't usually do it, but sometimes you can see it.
先輩、他に痛むところはありますか?
If he says his stomach hurts, is she gonna pour disinfectant down his throat?
あ、いや、怪我したのは腹と背中だけだ。他はなんともない。
It's my heart. My heart hurts. Saber's dead, man.
そうですか。なら、あとはガーゼを当ててテーピングするだけですね。
I like this. Somehow, this is serious Sakura, and somehow she looks very caring. Almost motherly. That's an interesting drawing. Good spread, I guess. It conveys the emotion. Sakura handles the first aid kit with practiced ease. She looks so intent on it, I don't want to interrupt. Well, let's explain why this is happening. It's because I threw up on the tea I drank because it stung my stomach. I didn't want Sakura to find out, but that gave it away. I had no choice but to tell her how badly I was hurt, and now she's treating me. Well, she wasn't that much of a devil to begin with.
怪我ってお腹ですか?
When I showed her my stomach, she was blushing so badly she couldn't treat me. Alright, so.
本当にいいのか? 手当てなら自分でできるし、無理しなくていいぞ。それに背中はもっとひどい。
大丈夫です。やります。やらせてください。
I would just like to point out that Shiro is probably the only protagonist in an anime or anime-styled series I've ever seen that the protagonist actually gives a shit about being punched in the stomach for more than 1 second. Like, the only character who cares for more than 30 seconds is Shiro right now. I mean, like, think of how many movies you've seen where someone gets hit in the stomach or knocked into a wall, and they just shake it off 2 seconds later. Shiro's like, he got punched into a wooden wall, not a stone wall, not a concrete wall, wood. And he's like sitting here getting medical attention for it. I mean, it's reasonable that he would need medical attention. I'm not making fun of Shiro. I find it amusing that he actually needs to get this taken care of. Compared to, like, other media where you wouldn't really care. Yeah, those other movie characters, like, literally every action movie hero ever. They're all innately good at physical enhancement magic, which is why they don't die. She was so flustered, I half expected her to faint when she saw the wound on my back. You took your shirt off and she's like halfway to fainting because she looks so good? Yeah, Stallone. He's a great wizard. Sylvester Stallone. Cunning, intelligent. The first two things you think of. I didn't want to stop Sakura since I couldn't treat my own back. I did as I was told and let her treat me. Still, it was so bad she couldn't do anything for a while. Seriously, Sakura? Have some self-control. I get that it's an anime character, and anime characters seem to exaggerate a lot of their emotions. But it still feels very silly to have someone who's like, I can't give you medical attention because you're so attractive. Give me 5 minutes. She stared at it for a few minutes and started treating me after a gulp. That was 20 minutes ago. It's past 2 o'clock now. Sakura's careful treatment is about to end.
はい、終わりました。新しいシャツを用意しましたから、こっちを着てください。
あ、もう終わったのか。サンキュー、さくら。
Thank you, Sakura.
いえ、先輩もお疲れ様でした。
I put on the new shirt and take a deep breath. There's nothing to be done about my stomach, but my back feels much better. That's good. Small victories, right? I'll sleep face down tonight, and hopefully it'll be better tomorrow.
さて、それじゃ寝るか。こんな夜更けに起こしてすまなかったな。
Oh, she couldn't sleep anyway.
いえ、そんなことはないんですけど。
Sakura hangs her head. It seems like she wants to say something, but she can't.
さくら、俺がいない間に何かあったのか。
先輩、セイバーさんは帰られたんですか
Day 1 patches are big, yeah? It's just a patch, man. Like, it's a game you can natively download for PC. It's gonna have a sizable hard drive requirement. They'll even like give you the approximates on their website, I bet.
セイバーさんは帰られたんですか
Oh right. Can you get Genshin Impact for mobile? Really? Not that I want to play, but I'm curious. I thought, oh. They actually have it for PC as well. Okay, well, yeah, I can see not getting that if you don't have space on your phone. Phones actually have space limitations. I'm like sitting on my computer being like, did someone just say, wow, it's 2 whole gigabytes to download the game? I'm like, yeah, but I have like 3 terabytes of space. Alright, that's fair. If you're downloading it for mobile, yeah, I can definitely see 7 gigabytes being a fairly sizable portion of the space on your drive. In fact, that would be a concern for me as well. Like, how much space do I even have on my phone? Probably not a lot. I know I have to clear shit out to even install stuff, so I gotta be low on space at some point again. Storage. Oh, they redid the... Yeah, my phone's almost full. I think I have 5 gigs on my phone left. Yeah, I could see being out of space. 64 gigabytes disappear so damn fast on phones these days. When I hear the words from someone else, the reality of it finally sinks in.
ああ、急な話だけど、あいつは帰った。もう戻ってこない。
I endure my dizziness and answer calmly. It's not like it's a stupid question. Of course she would think something happened if Saber, who was here 4 hours ago, is gone. But I have to put on a strong face and act like nothing's wrong.
セイバー、最後にさくらのことを言ってたよ。さくらは思い詰めるタイプだから、もっと気楽に行けってさ。
そうですか。セイバーさんとは仲直りしたばかりだったのに、お別れを言えなかったのは残念です。
I can't nod to that. I can't even nod to that. Yeah, I wish I could have told her goodbye too. We just made up. Oh man, that's rough. You have space? You have more than enough space. You You just plug your internet, but you don't want to download it because it doesn't seem like a game you'll enjoy. I want to see it, what it's about. I mean, if the only concern for you is space and nothing else, I would say like you may as well try it if you have the space. What's the worst that happens? You have to delete it 5 minutes later? Like, okay, you download it, it takes time. I'm assuming you're going to be on Wi-Fi when you download this and you're not like on your data plan. Yeah, I assume you're not on your data plan or something like that, spending a ton of money, and it's on like Wi-Fi or your regular internet service provider where you don't care about how much your downloads are. Worst happens, you waste the 20. Your phone battery dies faster because it's downloading stuff, and you waste 20 minutes playing a game. Like, I'm not playing Genshin Impact for other reasons, but if the only reason is you're like, oh, I don't want to download it, like, I don't know. Seems like I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a strong reason not to play something. But if you don't think you're going to enjoy it, just don't download it. But, I mean, that's fair. If you don't think you'll enjoy the game, and 5 gigabytes thing, downloading 5 gigabytes just to find out is too much, maybe it's not a game you'd enjoy in the first place. It's like, then if you encountered anything in the game you didn't like, you'd probably stop playing right away, right? Like if the download process is too much effort. Yeah, maybe it's best not to play. Yeah, I would usually try to encourage someone and say, well, don't let this weak barrier stop you, but if you're thinking about stopping for that, and you haven't even started, what's compelling you to try the game in the first place? It might not be that strong a compulsion to play. Saber's gone. This is a depressing scene. Saber disappeared before I could even say goodbye. The fact makes my heart feel so heavy I want to vomit. A collaborator for only 6 days. My partner for only 6 days. How can I repay her? The one who was my sword for only 6 days.
でもよかった。あの人が来てから先輩怪我してばかりだったから。これで今まで通りですね、先輩。そうですよね。何をしていたかは聞きませんけど、先輩はセイバーさんのために出歩いていたんでしょ。けど、そのセイバーさんも帰ってしまったんですから、先輩が危ない目に遭うこともないじゃないですか。
You're not going to be exposed to danger anymore. You're going to regret that, Sakura. It's probably not true.
セイバーがいなくなっても夜に出歩くのは続けるけどな。セイバーに付き合ってたんじゃなくて、俺がセイバーを付き合わせてたんだから。
I stand up. My tension is gone now that the treatment is over. I'm getting really sleepy.
先輩。
おやすみ、さくら。それと今の話な。明日からもっと家を留守にするだろうけど、さくらは今まで通りここを使ってくれ。今夜みたいに帰りが遅くなる時もあるけど、気にせずちゃんと眠ること。さっきみたいにずっと玄関で待ってるってのはなしだぞ。
Sakura thinks, oh, it's all over. My worries for Senpai are over. And he's just like, aw, man, I got bad news. Yeah, Saber was keeping me safe. Saber was the one keeping me safe. Things gonna get rough. Don't wait for me.
はい。おやすみなさい、先輩。
Sorry, Sakura. Sorry, Sakura. Things are not going well. I rest my body. I didn't feel it till now, but I'm dead tired. Drowsiness overtakes me the minute I lay down. But before I do so, I glare into the darkness to prepare myself. What Saber lost against and what I should be fighting. I have to accept them here and now. It hurts just to think about it. My body is trembling and my mind is about to lose against anger or fear. It's that shadow. That thing that attacks people without discrimination. The black shadow that even Saber and Archer fear. I know with certainty, even though I didn't see it. That is what defeated Saber. Assassin cannot defeat Saber. So if there is something at the temple that can defeat her, it's that shadow. I have to beat the thing that beats Saber. On top of that, I'll have to deal with Matou Zoken and Assassin. Zoken said there's no use for me now that I'm no longer a master. But so long as I stay in the Holy Grail War and search for the shadow, Zoken will continue to haunt me. A shiver runs through my body. Saber is not with me anymore. I have no miracle that heals my wounds, and the only weapon I have is magic, as a half-ass Magus. Yeah, you're right. Barely even a half-ass Magus, man. I know it's a reckless, suicidal choice. I lost Saber because of that. Your choice to fight and become a hero. I've walked in Kiritsugu's footsteps ever since the fire because of that. My only option is to stop the war so such a disaster will not occur again. So this will be the only night I'll tremble in fear. When my wound heals and morning comes, I have to act as strong so the girl who disappeared can be proud of me. Right. For Saber. We gotta make Saber proud. The only way we can live with ourselves, right? We, you know, from Shiro's perspective, him being weak led to Saber's defeat. So he needs to become better, and he needs to make up for that, or he can't face her again, right? The girl returns to her room. She walks with heavy steps to her bed and sits on it. She doesn't know what happened. The boy looked as lifeless as a starving man, and his body was covered with wounds. The golden-haired girl who first appeared here several days ago has not returned. From this, she can tell something happened that can never be undone. The boy is hiding something, and the golden-haired girl will not return as a result. But such things don't matter. For her, such things are trivial. She doesn't know what happened, but it's fine as long as the boy is safe. For her, having Emiya Shiro come home is an unparalleled joy. Saber Root remake. I like Saber. I like the Saber parts of the Saber Root. I like having Saber and her personality developed, but I don't know about that. I feel like the route itself is the least compelling. She shivers and brings her hand up to her forehead. It's hot. Like what's compelling about... Well, I mean... The standard hero's journey is nice, but it's not unique, or it's not as unique or interesting, and I feel like the Saber route is carried on the novelty of the setting more than the tale it's trying to tell. Her body is burning up, and she has to fight to remain conscious. Hot. It must be a light cold. Another cold. She rarely gets sick, but after waiting in the hallway for nearly 3 hours, it's hardly a surprise. She's not even surprised that she's sick after hanging out in a hallway for 3 hours. Imagine being this frail. With sluggish movements, she reaches over and turns off the light. She lets herself fall to the bed, lacking even the energy to change clothes. The girl recalls what she saw a few minutes ago. The wounds on his back, almost as if the flesh had been grated. You mean like cheese? That sounds painful, man. That sounds fucking painful, Jesus. The blackening bruise on his stomach, his eyes still as strong and clear, in spite of his condition. Her temperature rises as she remembers. The girl pretends not to notice it stems from the hatred she feels. Yeah, that seems insanely painful. Yes. She doesn't know who did it, but she can't forgive this person. It's not temporary dislike or annoyance. He's been wounded all this time, but he's stayed beautiful. She can't forgive anyone that hurts someone important to her. Reaches out her hand in a daze. It's been a while since she last saw his naked skin so close. When they first met, he was small for a boy and about as tall as her. But in the 2 years since then, he's grown into a man. Something stirs beneath the sheets. Trapped between her body and the bed, her hand slowly creeps down between her legs. It's different from when he collapsed from a cold. Back then, it was a cold and nothing more. Tonight, it was the body of a wounded man. Thinking about it causes her to space out. He must train without a day's rest. His body is sturdily built, without even an ounce of useless muscle. His graceful build is like that of an antelope. It has the beauty of having inner strength, one that allows it to jump up precipices that is not apparent. Imagine if he got his face disfigured in an unsexy way. Like his lips split open, he just had a gap where his... Oh, you mean like, you know, like hockey players? Couple front teeth missing? I imagine she'd be really frickin' tilted then. Like, you think turning his back into Swiss cheese? Or, maybe just shredded cheese is bad? She probably, like, flipped the fuck out on anyone who did that. Her outstretched fingers run across the chest. Her outstretched fingers run across the chest that is not there. She unconsciously runs her fingers across his body. They run from his chest down to his stomach, crawling across the bedsheets. Her fingers travel below her belly button, and her face turns bright red. She quickly pulls her hand back. She even turns her ears red and curls up on the bed. What? You don't... It shouldn't be this embarrassing, but her memory is too vivid. What did she mean by this? Gryerk's playing dense. Sakura really only thinking about Shiro. Yeah, she's like, think... What did she mean by this? The feel of his skin beneath her fingertips only made her imagination more concrete. Yeah, this Sakura is really only thinking about Shiro. More like having Shiro to herself. That's why she's mad someone's taking him away. And glad that Saber's gone. Jealousy. At least one emotion's jealousy, and the other one, the one she's feeling regretful about. Well, I'll leave that one for you guys, the viewers, to decide on. But is that what caused her to heat up? Is there going to be an audio line for this? Probably not. Her heart starts to beat faster. It's too late to stop. Her body is hot, her mind is in a daze, and she can only think of one thing. Her limbs are heavy and it feels as if she's turned into a puppet. Her breaths are unbelievably hot. Is it because the heat is escaping from her body? The heat invades her brain and melts her memory, intelligence, reason, and morals, making her think of only one thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, at first it's, oh no, Shiro's injured, and then it's like, but those muscles, that build. The heat takes over her body, and her limbs are out of her control. Dirty desire creeps up from within her. She doesn't stop. She moves her fingers, which are just tracing Shiro's body, down between her legs. Feeling of guilt excites her even more. His wounded body, thinking about the blood on his back, makes her dizzy. Alright. Little bit of sadism. The girl who won't be coming back. The realization that, once again, he is all hers, many lies. The dark emotions, unthinkable for her usual self, draw her down into a darker passion. I'm not gonna read that line. We're just skipping her dialogue lines where it's like, those are trivial matters. We're skipping all the moans. What she's truly glad about is that the boys come back to her. But it's not enough. Tonight's made that clear. He cares for her, but he tries to protect her by keeping her away. She knows it's a greedy wish. Her passion gets worse because it's a wish she should never speak of, a wish that will never come true. No, it's more like it's weird to read those lines. You have to like actually, I can't just read them like in a normal voice. Yeah, a heated masturbation sounds about right. The repeated repentance cools off the girl's temporary madness. It's more like it's like really weird to read those in a flat voice. Like if you're gonna do this, like you heard the line that just played. It's really weird if I try to read that line. This is what that one high school desperately wants. A moderately attractive kind of emo guy to be after. She stares at the ceiling absent-mindedly. The overwhelming self-hatred after the climax is familiar to her, but a heavier agony assails her tonight. The wounded body. He said he intends to continue fighting even after receiving such wounds. She thinks as her body sweats. It's a worry without an answer, a problem the girl cannot solve. See, all that previous scene was just to get that post-nut clarity. You need to figure out, needs to focus her mind now. What are we gonna do? Right? She cannot come up with a way to stop him, even if she thinks all night. But she reaches the simple answer with a calm voice. Delighted by her sudden insight, she smiles and... That was a different Sakura, Gryerg. A very different Sakura. That would be the Sakura from Naruto, as I recall. This definitely. No, I'm pretty sure that's the Sakura from Naruto, not this one, because this one, as you might see, says you can't get in any more danger if you're hurt so badly you can't walk. This one actually has a dark side. I think most if you're gonna stereotype people like that, I'm not sure most people went with Stay Night Sakura, and they probably went with the Naruto one because Naruto is hella popular in the 2000s. Most people don't read visual novels. They'll watch like the classic animes that are popular. Whispers to herself with a sigh of relief. Yeah. Just break his legs. No problem. It's only a little bit yandere. QP or AP? AP. Moving on. Not even a difficult question. If you remove QP, you don't have to, farm QP. And it's gone. And if you remove AP, you don't have to stop playing when you're bored, so you don't have to care about QP because you would already have farmed out everything you wanted. I would want them to rebalance things a little bit, but I don't know if you just mean rebalance or remove from the game, because I don't often have to farm for doors, but I'm often farming for materials and happen to get QP along the way. So removing QP would be more beneficial for me for the most part. So it would be one less thing I ever have to... Removing AP would be better, because then I could just farm for materials without running out of AP. Depends on if they rebalance the game around a lack of AP and if the balance is like up or down in terms of farming required. Like if you remove AP and they're like, well, there's no AP now, so we can triple the amount of farming you need to do, I'd say remove the QP. But then again, if you remove QP, they might also say, well, you don't need QP, so let's double the materials cost of everything to make up for the fact you don't need to farm QP. Like, what they actually do depends. Personally, AP is more of a barrier, because if there's no AP, then I don't have to care about overcapping on AP or something like that. Which I should be thinking about in about 20 minutes. It's a room that smells of stone. The light is not artificial, but natural. The lamp's flame shines on the man's back and illuminates the parchment in his hand. The voice comes from behind him without revealing its source. The man on the chair, Kotomine Kirei, moves on his next task without the slightest reaction. If nothing is done, this town will become barren of life, Kotomine. Kotomine doesn't answer. He knows what the man wants to say. The strange shadow that appeared in this town. It's only sucking up life force right now, but the amount is increasing by the day. The abnormality that first surfaced 2 days ago will exceed the regulated allowances in a few days. For the moment, it only causes dyspnea, but it should soon be enough to kill even a healthy adult male in one night.
だがその心配は無用だ。素人ではあるまいし、再現を知らぬというわけでもあるまい。
そうかな。あの虫使いはそうでもなさそうだが、あの手の輩は早めに潰さねばたたるぞ。俺とておめおめと町の人間を殺されるのは性に合わぬ。
I would just like to point out that Gilgamesh's whole plot in the previous in Unlimited Blade Works is he wants to kill fucking everyone. And he's like, yo, this guy's just murdering people at random. Do you want to, like, stop that for a minute? This statement takes Kotomine by surprise. This man, who doesn't care about anyone else, is concerned for the people.
驚いたな。どういう風の吹き回しだ、ギルガメッシュ。
驚くことはあるまい。俺以外の者が人を殺めることをよしとはせん。人が人をほふらば、つまらぬ財閥で迷おう。その手の苦しみは楽しくもないからな。
Yeah, if people just randomly die, that's boring. In that route, everyone was unworthy. All they do is charge their phone. Ah, in this route, they're more worthy? No. I think it's, as he says here, he doesn't like it when other people are making a mess. He needs entertainment.
お前はお前で、やはり英霊だな。
He's still a heroic spirit after
生
all.
の苦より救うために死を使う。ならば、お前の望みはやはり死か。
当然だ。ここは無意味で無価値なものばかりだからな。
Killing them would be a service, but he still doesn't like the murder? His scorning voice is filled with absolute dominance and dignity. The priest does not stop his work as he listens.
なるほど。そう望むのなら、聖杯はお前が使うがいい。お前を打倒する者が現れない限り、聖杯はお前のものだ。
ことみね、お前には望みがないのか。
明確な願いなどない。私にあるものは、明確な快楽を欲する己のみだ。
そうか。お前には快楽のみか。
The man starts laughing at the simple answer. It's as if he's delighted and proud of his partner.
よいぞ。俺はおぞましいから殺し、お前は楽しいから殺す。理由は違えど、聖杯に求めるものは同じ。なればこそ、俺をここまでつなぎ止めたというわけだな。
The priest does not answer. He merely continues his work.
お前が動かぬのならばそれでもよい。せいぜい好きにさせてもらうぞ。
The man's presence disappears. The priest glances at the exit of the silent stone ring.
酔っているように見えて、真は正気のままか。あの泥もあれの魂までは汚染できなかったと見える。
It seems the mud was unable to pollute his soul. Ah, see, remember? He was awash in Grail mud, and he actually came out of it, sort of not, only partially evil. King of Heroes, Gilgamesh. The Golden Servant is the most powerful being at this point in time. The fact is accepted as truth by all. Even Kotomine, the game master himself, does not doubt it. If only Gil knew it was going to happen. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Gil can just press X to understand, to see the future, but that's boring, so he's not going to do that.
無価値なものはあるが、無意味なものなどない。注意するのだな、英雄を。お前に敗北を与えるものがあるとすれば、それはその一点のみだろう。
Is he in his gold armor in the break room here? Who knows? He didn't specify. Wait, actually, I think he might have said that. Let's see. Let's see. He's a spirit. He's in spirit form this time. Yeah, he's in spirit. I think he's in spirit form. His monologue doesn't reach anyone. Lit by the dim light, the priest resembles the prophet seeing into the future. He might just... Golden Servant? Yeah, but that could just be his hair. It's not close enough. It has to be armor. I assume he's like in spirit form or just materialized with his hair. Alright. On to February 8th. Evansfield Part 9. Rain. Day 9. Rain. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been fun, but I've gotta go. We'll resume this in a couple days. Same time, same place. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time.